American Gothic, or Mayberry Goes to Hell. This 1995 Southern Gothic suburban fantasy horror series takes place in Trinity, South Carolina, a town ruled by the corrupt Sheriff Lucas Buck. Sheriff Buck's influence is backed by possessing supernatural powers, which he usually uses to manipulate people to make life-changing, often evil choices. One of the greatest aspects of this show is trying to figure out what Buck really is. Is he a warlock, or a wizard, or a sorcerer? Is he a demon, or is he the devil himself? The show never really specifies, but it is apparent he has dark magical powers. He was portrayed by Gary Cole, who many of you may recognize as Bill Lumbergh from the 1999 comedy Office Space. Wouldn't that be an interesting concept? Bill Lumbergh as the devil. Yeah, I'm going to need you to fill out this Faustian Pact. If you could do that, that'd be great. Okay? Second point of focus in the series is Caleb Temple, the illegitimate son of Sheriff Buck, conceived through the rape of Caleb's mother. Sheriff Buck becomes increasingly interested in raising Caleb, quite possibly as an heir. Caleb was portrayed by Lucas Black, who eventually grew up to star in the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. I've never seen it, but I really should. Black, I find, is a very talented actor, even as a child actor. There's not a lot of child actors I really do appreciate. I mean, there's him, Mara Wilson, Ariana Richards, Charlie Corsmo, Freddie Highmore, and Peter Ostrom, and that's about it. And next to Mara Wilson, Lucas Black is probably the best of them. Anyway, standing in Buck's way of claiming Caleb as his heir is Caleb's cousin Gail Emery, portrayed by Paige Turco, who many of you may recognize as April O'Neil from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and 3, and Dr. Matt Crower, portrayed by Jake Weber, who you might recognize as the douchebag boyfriend Drew from Meet Joe Black. As well as Caleb's older sister Merlin, portrayed by Sarah Paulson, who was killed by Buck in the pilot episode but comes back as a ghost and spiritual guide for Caleb. Aiding Buck is his ally and lover, Selena Coombs, portrayed by Brenda Back, a local school teacher at Caleb's school, and Buck's deputy Ben Healy, portrayed by Nick Searcy, who lives in fear of Buck. From then on out, it's the custody battle of good versus evil. Now, as you can probably guess, this show was very ahead of its time. I mean, it was released in the mid-90s, and it would probably have lasted longer if it was released nowadays. But 20 years ago? I have no doubt it didn't stand the chance. Which is sad, because the dialogue was extremely witty, the episodes were intriguing, and the characters were so well developed and engaging. And a special nod to Gary Cole, who played such a fantastic and deviously manipulative villain who you couldn't help but occasionally root for. When I first started watching this, I was a child and it aired in syndication on the Sci-Fi Channel. Now, this was back in the days when that channel still spelled itself correctly. I was at such a young and tender age for adult themes, but was increasingly enthralled by the experience. However, they only showed the same episode every week, which was the one where Merlin steals an unborn baby to become human again. It got kind of tedious, watching the same episode over and over again, when I wanted so much more out of it. It wasn't until it aired on Chiller that I finally got to see all the episodes in its entirety. It still held up, and it still was a fantastic show. It only lasted for one season, though, with 22 episodes in total. The best bit about this series is that it actually did end. I mean, it had a beginning, a middle, and an ending. The final episode was kind of conclusive to the series as a whole, with only a few cliffhangers left over. Overall, though, it was a pretty satisfying ending, but one that left you wanting more, which is what a good show should do. That being said, if you ever stumble upon it through Netflix or whatever, be sure to give it a whirl. I assure you, it wouldn't be a waste of time. Next week on Penguins Rock, we're going back to my movie roots, with one of the shows that started it all. See you then!